Hello guys, and welcome back to the Heroes of the Storm Road to BlizzCon qualifiers. This is the June North American Open, and we are slowly making our way through this bracket, Anna.
We sure are, and this time it's going to be Vanquish versus Stellar Lotus after they came out victorious against Banana Bread in the last round.
Yes, exactly right. They will have a whole new bear to deal with. They've taken out the crazy murky comps of Banana Bread and are moving on to see what Vanquish can throw at them. And we'll get into the draft very shortly. We're actually already starting, so I'm going to hop right over to that.
And guys, if you're just tuning in and you want to check out the brackets, you can use !bracket in the chat to find the link. Please be sure to do that. You can stay up to date with where we are in this bracket. But in the meantime, let's take you through this draft. Vanquish went ahead and first banned Lost Vikings, which we've seen quite a bit today, Gilly.
Yes, and especially on these large maps like Garden of Terror, where you have to leave the lane in order to be able to deal with whatever map objective is happening. That's where they really shine. Because it's so difficult to try to go between lanes to try to push the Vikings back, especially when they're split between. But Stellar Lotus has chosen to ban Lotus, so wanting to get rid at least of one of those very high damage dealing sorcerers, but Vanquish has picked up the other one in Jaina. Stellar Lotus responding with a quick Anubarak and Sylvanas, and we're starting to see it take shape a little bit. They're definitely going to have the potential to push with that Sylvanas.
Have Stellar Lotus taken Sylvanas every time we've seen them draft today?
Yeah, and very early on. They really like her, and you can't help but understand that because she does make it so easy to capitalize on any time your opponents might make a mistake or you might be able to get a favorable team engagement. I mean, you have to deal with her pushing just by herself, but if you can get a favorable team engagement, take out a few members of your opponent's team, then you can quickly go and take down 2 towers or quickly go take down a fort.
I heard the catch in your voice when you saw what Vanquish just did. They pulled out an Arthas.
Oh my goodness. I'm wondering, well, they also have a Zeratul, so they're going to be working off of Void Prisons too. So I'm really wondering though what the rest of their plan is for draft now that I see Arthas. They're still going to at least need a support, but if they've got something tricky up their sleeves for these last 2 picks to go off of Arthas. Arthas, of course, also really good with Kerrigan, but I doubt we'll see that because that would be Kerrigan and Zeratul. That's a lot of melee from a team. We'll have to see. They're going to have a ban now. Stellar Lotus has banned Abathur, so still not wanting to deal with him, not wanting to take any chances of the fact that maybe Vanquish likes Abathur, but Vanquish also going to ban Illidan, so trying to whittle down the damage dealers that Stellar Lotus might be able to pick up. And with Kael'thas, Illidan, Jaina, and already Sylvanas picked, they really just had to pick up Vala there.
Yeah, I mean, there are still a few damage dealers that would be worthwhile. I mean, Tychus has been known to be a really strong one as well. So it's hard to completely ban out viable damage dealers in this game. But I think you're right. I mean, Vala was, of course, the pick they were going to go for. Very, very strong and pairs nicely with who they already have. And then they add Brightwing to that mix. We've seen Brightwing being a very, very strong support all throughout this tournament. Capable of being a solo support, also capable of being one of 2 supports and adding to the lane pressure in lots and lots of ways. So not a surprise to see her here. And Stellar Lotus has now got a really well-rounded team composition that could almost welcome any kind of hero to join it. It could have another support, it could have another tank, it could have another damage dealer, it could have a specialist. Any of those at this point would be viable and worthwhile.
I am wondering what that will be. Vanquish does have Rhaegar and Tyrande, so they're going for that double support, but Tyrande is more of a utility pick. Yes, she has a heal, but she also has a lot of vision, which is really nice. During the Garden of Terror, of course, there is a day phase and a night phase. In the night phase, you don't have as much vision, and so that's going to be really nice. She can use her Sentinel to help figure out where the other members of Stellar Lotus are, and then also she has a great stun, and they can use those stuns from both her and the root from Arthas' Howling Blast to be able to stop somebody in their tracks, and then Jaina and Zeratul can go to town on them. But Stellar Lotus are going to pick up Zagara as their final pick. A really good choice here. I think that they're going to have a lot of potential for sieging between Zagara and Sylvanas, and good damage, as well as the fact that they can build off of that Devouring Maw a lot.
I just love the composition from Stellar Lotus. It's just a very pleasing thing for me to look at because each of those heroes fills such a distinct role and has such distinct strengths that they can use together. A lot of times we're looking for that big wombo, and of course those things exist, but when we're looking at this, we see Sylvanas, damage dealing as well as push power. Anubarak, tank as well as escapability and CC. We have Vala, strong range damage dealer who can pound face. Brightwing, who is a healer but can also do lanes. And Zagara, who's a specialist with vision as well as siege pressure. So all of those, depending on how they're focused and how they're built, could lean toward multiple different types of overall strategies for Stellar Lotus. So as a Heroes fan, that's a really fun composition for me. However, what I want to spend a lot of time talking about is Vanquish, because we have not seen Arthas's face in a long time, Gilly.
We haven't really, but I love seeing it. Arthas fell out of favor quite a bit when he lost that Envenom at level 4. There were also some changes to his abilities. He became very mana intensive. You really have to watch that Frozen Tempest, his E, because it's an activatable, and once it's on, it stays on, and it slowly bleeds you of mana. And so they're going to definitely want to watch that. We'll see him trying to only turn it on when he's around everybody, kind of right in the middle of everybody. But once he does that, then it's very epic because it deals a great area of effect damage. If he can get right in the middle of, Vala, he's going to have a Anubarak going in as well. He's going to have the potential of really being able to lock people down, deal a lot of AoE damage.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to see how those combos are going to work out. The two support. Tronda does have healing capability, but I wouldn't flat out say she is a healer and leave it at that. She has a lot of applicability with damage, like you were mentioning. So having those two together with the Arthas, and just counting on Jaina as the burst damage dealer, though Zeratul can do quite a bit of damage, this composition, looking at it, leaves a lot of question marks for me. It says to me, this is a composition that could work, but I want to see how you've practiced it, because you have to have practiced it. It's not something that's just going to stand up to what Stellar Lotus has picked.
That's a great point to make. It's all going to come down to seeing how they're able to make that Arthas work, as well as I'm ready to see some really good Void Prisons, which there are a lot of great places that you can drop them and get a really favorable engagement. One that comes to mind is right around those small seed camps. Those are pretty tight quarters. You can throw those down. Any place where you've got a tight quarter really is advantageous when trying to throw down a good Void Prison. So we'll see about that. And we'll see if Stellar Lotus can just continue their dominance here. As we are hopping into the game, the countdown has begun. And once again, we're going to be on Garden of Terror.
Yeah, this is the second time in a row we've had this battleground. And just to remind you, in case you're not too familiar with Heroes, the mechanic on this battleground is a garden terror that will spawn in your base once you've gathered enough seeds. Enough is 100, and you have to collect them from camps in the middle of the map. 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom, small camps and 1 large one on each side. There's 60 seeds in a large garden shambler and 15 in either of the small camps on either side. So you can't just focus on one side of the map, you gotta go to both if you want to get a full garden terror growing in your base. And we'll see which team can do that first after we introduce them. I'll go ahead and take Vanquish. We have Juke Step on Arthas, Surveillance will be playing Zeratul, Hikisaka will take Tyrande, Zilla will play Rhaegar, and Reset will be on Jaina.
And in the red is Stellar Lotus with Haas once again on Brightwing, Nightmare again on Sylvanas. Playing Anubarak will be Kiefer's, Wargreymon will be on Vala, and on that Zagara is ToeJam and Earl. And now ready, the Sentinels are out in force.
Yeah, we saw that get thrown out toward the bottom of the map, just making sure they know exactly who is where, as 5 members of Vanquish are here, potentially already looking for a gank. They were trying to hide in those bushes. Little did they know that Kiefer's saw them from his bushes on the other side of the lane. They're now going to fall down to the bottom. They're looking to catch someone out, but nobody is poking their head where it shouldn't be so far from Stellar Lotus. Smart play from them as they are hanging back until they can go start wailing on these minions.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential for gank from Vanquish. They've got the Howling Blast from Arthas. They've got a Zeratul and Jaina to be able to capitalize on that, and they even have stuns from Hikisaka here on this Tyrande as well. So there's a ton of potential for that, and Stellar Lotus are recognizing that and staying very defensive, only staying, you know, toward the top of the lane when they're here in top. If going to be able to get away very quickly if they need to, and it looks like they want to come in here and try to get something done. They're going to go straight for Haas, but Haas does not get stunned by the Lunar Flare from Tyrande. Going to be able to get out, even throwing out an Arcane Flare of his own, and soon we are going to have the seeds spawning.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, we are going to see 3 camps in the top and the bottom. The general rule is that teams will fall down to take their small camps, the 15 seed camps, usually on their side of the map, unless they can manage to steal the other side. Looks like Vanquish is hoping that they can grab both sides of these small siege camps small siege camps on the top of the map. Stellar Lotus grabbing this small camp on their side on the bottom, but it looks like Reset was able to grab a couple seeds from their side as well. And we will probably see the teams wait a moment before they go for these larger Garden Shamblers because they're pretty strong, but they get a little easier to take later on. Instead, we will see a big gank from Vanquish as they fall down on Brightwing in the top lane.
Looking at the talents, well, already we see the creep being spread here on bottom, so really great spread, and Zagara is going for that creep build, picking up that reconstitution at level 1. We'll probably see the endless creep at level 7 too, and in Venom Spines there, so looking to deal more damage, more single target damage there in at level 4. Bala is going for that that multi-shot build, and so that's going to enable her to be able to throw out a lot more AoE damage, also clear lanes and camps better, and that's really nice when you're wanting to clear those side camps really fast. Now they're coming in, trying to pick up a kill on Reset, who was able to throw the Blizzard. A good impale from Keepers, almost catches her, but not quite enough.
Yeah, those roaches come in from Zagara as well. Reset has been pretty gutsy, being out and exposed, but able to get away, despite the best efforts of Stellar Lotus throwing things behind the wall. We do see a great keep spread from Zagara all over the bottom of the map here. No one is going to come gank them without her knowing about it here in the bottom lane. We'll see how she uses that throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, definitely so. The creep is already amazing, and as it starts to spread more and more after level 7, that's going to be a huge boon for them because they will not, like you said, be able to be ganked as easily. Looking at some more talents, we have the Bribe from Brightwing, so looking to pick up those Merc camps more easily, as well as the Protective Shield. So not getting promote there, they had the potential for more siege, but instead favoring being able to keep the teammates alive, which makes a lot of sense. It's only her supporting. They don't have the double support like Vanquish have, and they do have that one squishy warrior who is Nubarak.
And they have plenty to use besides Brightwing in terms of lane pressure, so they really don't need her for that. They do need her to be thinking about how she can contribute as a support. So definitely I agree with you that that was the right call there. You know, what's going on?
Well, Brightwing was about to get caught up, got caught with a good Howling Blast from Arthas, but wasn't quite enough to be able to do anything. The nice thing about Arthas against Zagara is he's really effective in helping clear out creep. If he drops Frozen Tempest and just walks around, it will reveal and start to kill those creep tumors. So that's actually a really nice thing. Some of the other heroes are more difficult, but she actually didn't pick up the Endless Creep talent at level 7, instead of going for battle momentum. So this is a really mana-intensive build, but it pays off in terms of damage. She does a ton of damage with this build.
And that's really, I think, the best thing to do for her. I would say that they want her to be more aggressive and siegey than they want her to necessarily be, you know, sustainable or quick or vision-oriented on this map. Maybe on something like Tomb of the Spider Queen or even Sky Temple, they would want to focus more on that vision, but they don't need her for that right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Looks like we had a bit of a skirmish going on in the mid lane, but Vanquish is going to fall back, and they're going to find Keepers a little bit out of position. Luckily, Keepers is not afraid to be alone, and does almost take out Zeratul before he gets behind the wall safely.
Yeah, that's one really nice thing about having a Sylvanas is that you're able to stop turrets from attacking, so you can chase into a little a little more of aggressive position than you might otherwise want to. But meanwhile, while that is going on, Zagara also had a really great push on bottom, picked up some towers, and they're slightly ahead in terms of experience. Brightwing did go cleanse here at level 7, not getting that gust of healing, showing that they're respecting the fact that there's a lot of CC on the side of Vanquish with that Arthas Howling Blast, the Lunar Flare as well, even Jaina's slows and the slow from Rhaegar's Totem as well. So a lot of CC available, and we're heading into the night phase once again.
And Vanquish is very close to and now has their Garden Terror growing in their base. Will they choose to grab it right away, or will they look to get more seeds? It looks like for now they're going to try to grab more seeds to further line their pockets with delicious seeds so that they can use it next time. In the meantime, also Stellar Lotus has a growing Garden Terror in their base. Both teams focusing on the top or the bottom of the map and basically trading seeds in this phase.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a push happening, though, while Vanquish was trying to pick up seeds. And these Mercs are going to be able to take out this tower. So that's super nice. That's going to propel them to 10, or, well, they're already at 10, but further into it as both teams are going to pick up their heroic abilities. And on top, there's a huge push as well, without the Garden Terror even, as Stellar Lotus got this fort so low. One potted plant should be enough, or just even a swipe of a giant plant hand to finish it off. There goes the potted plant. Now Toe Jam Mineral is going to get out of there. We're going to see some rotations down, trying to pick up maybe even, a great pickup there on Jaina, as the Impale from Keepers was on point, stopping her from being able to get away. And now this push is going to head into mid from Stellar Lotus, but on bottom, Surveillance in that Garden Terror for Vanquish is pushing as well.
The Starfall and Cindergosa both go down, but Stellar Lotus was able to move themselves out of the way. We do have a Web Blast go down on Zilla, keeping him out of the action, not able to kill, or not able to heal his enemies, and instead it looks like Stellar Lotus is going to be able to, again, like you mentioned, push right up against these forts, throw that potted plant behind, and even start working on this keep.
Right, they are very close to being able to take out this keep, even with the power of Sylvanas there. It's not attacking them at all. And with Arthas still down, there's not really an engage here either. They have the power of the Void Prison, but unfortunately, that person happens to be in a Terra across the map. But he's doing work on this keep. It also is already almost down too. This is very similar to what we saw in the last game. Oh, Keepers, a really brilliant burrow charge, keeps him from getting hit by that Howling Blast. Still alive, Haas trying desperately to keep them up and running away with those blink heals, but body blocking just slightly. He does get hit by the Lunar Flare. Keeper's getting very, very low. They might be able to get out, and they will do so. What an incredible escape there from Stellar Lotus.
Ooh-wee. The Ancestral Heal goes down, keeping Vanquish healthy as now they are on the retreat. All 5 members of Stellar Lotus rejoining each other after having dispensed the threat in the bottom lane. And they are chasing Jukestep and Zilla right through this siege camp. Looks like they might be content to just grab these bruisers if they're not going to get another pick.
Well, there goes the Cindergosa in. It hits every single member, and there's a great Blizzard hitting so many members of Stellar Lotus, but Strafe is out. Stellar Lotus is being very aggressive, picks up the takedown on Arthas, and now they're chasing after Higisaka, who does not have escape. She's Tyrande. Zilla will be able to get away, Ghost Wolves instantly, and Zagara went down to Surveillance, so they were able to at least pick up one person there, but this fort will go down, and that's more experience. Ever more experience for Stellar Lotus.
The Web Blast has gone down on Zilla, who is playing Rhaegar, multiple times, and that has really helped Stellar Lotus come out on top in these team fights. We've talked about how Tyrande is a support, and she does have a fair amount of healing, but she's really being used more to augment the damage that team can do. And when Rhaegar is not there to heal, that leaves a lot of exposure for Vanquish, which has allowed Stellar Lotus to get some picks.
Oh man, a really great game sense, knowledge, something. They were able to see Zeratul running through there, and they impaled him, revealed him, and then took him out very quickly. He did pick up the keep on bottom, so at least they now have catapults of their own pushing, and that's something in Vanquish's favor. They've also been, Tyrande has been throwing out owls all game, so they've been doing a really good job of being able to see where their opponents are, but there is a burrow charge onto Zilla. Web Blast this time goes down on Arthas, and they want to take out Zilla, will be able to do so. An amazing polymorph, was not able to heal himself, and that really sealed the deal. They were able to pick up that takedown. Now they're after Jukestep. There's no heals, so Vanquish has got to just stay out of here.
Yeah, the roaming as 5 from Stellar Lotus is really working for them. Even though that takes them out of lanes, they're not really worried about that because they've got lots of advantages in terms of how many structures and how many heroes they have been able to take down. They're moving toward their level 16, which is going to give them an even bigger advantage, and that's going to be the point where they're going to be looking for even more engagements. Right now, though, they're content to be gathering some seeds. There is a growing Garden Terror in the base of Stellar Lotus, while Vanquish is working to build up a bank account of seeds of their own. They're saving for their first house, Gilly.
Oh, a house made of plants and carnage. Well, Surveillance is going to have to blink out of here just a little bit. Good zoning Lunar Flare keeps War Greymon from following, and now we still have seeds. And Stellar Lotus, I believe they're going to bring this Garden Terror here to help ensure that they can pick up the rest of these seeds. They are looking to pick up a second one in a row. This open plant right here means that with the seeds that are still available on the map, they have a possibility of picking up enough for a Garden Terror, which means they would have 2 in a row. And we saw the power of 2 Garden Terrors in a row last time we were on Garden of Terror. It is frightening.
Absolutely, and with that, they actually will also grab level 16. So really, Vanquish would have loved to grab that amount of seeds for themselves after their Garden Terror fell so early. They were not able to do that, though, because Stellar Lotus does have that level lead, which making them very scary. Surveillance is hanging out looking for the flank after Syndragosa goes down. It does hit them, and the Void Prison is huge, takes out many members of Stellar Lotus. Surveillance also very low, though. War Greymon being protected and healed as Vala does lots of damage, but also will fall. There's a lot of carnage happening here, but Reset also getting low means that a lot of damage will not happen for Vanquish after she goes down. Arthas will fall as well, and 4 members of Stellar Lotus continue into the base. This keep is very likely to fall now.
Anna,
what?
Stellar Lotus. Well, first of all, they're going straight to, they don't even have to go after the keep because they've already had a keep down. If you have a keep down, you can do this. You only need 1 keep down to be able to attack the core. But, okay, so there was a Void Prison down on 3 with only Vala and Sylvanas up, and Zeratul jumped in, thought he could take out Vala. But instead of running, they turned around and attacked him, and Sylvanas so quickly, Nightmare threw that Envenom down, and that was an incredible Envenom. They were able to pick up the kill. Even though Vala went down, they worked so hard for it because by that point, Haas was out, and Blink healed onto Vala, who was strafing, and dealt so much damage to Vanquish. That was some incredible play, not freaking out at the fact that you saw Zeratul blinking right in your face, instead turning, taking him out. And, oh my gosh, I guess was it Envenom? Or what? Yeah, it could have been Envenom or Blood for Blood. There were also 3 Blood for Bloods on their team. Either way, fantastic play in that team fight from Stellar Lotus.
I love that aggression with certainty from Stellar Lotus at the end. I thought that they would maybe be a little more conservative, take out that keep and look and see after that. But they said, no, we know we have a Garden Terror. We know we have enough damage. Even if we lose another hero, that's fine. We still have enough to take down the core. And they did. I love the versatility they had, the variety of strengths they were able to take advantage of with this composition. And again, just showing that they really understand this game to a point where even creative compositions are pretty well taken care of when they know what they need to do next on the map.
Yes, that's exactly right. I love when teams have such a good game sense that they know, okay, at this time of the game, we can deal enough damage to take out the core. Even though they were down Vala, they were 13 minutes in, and they knew we have the Garden Terror. It's still very healthy.